Okay, so what if I told you that the world's absolute most powerful, legally available performance-enhancing drug is actually sitting right in your kitchen? Like probably right now. Just think about it. Most of us stumble into the kitchen every single morning, completely unaware that we're about to brew a scientifically backed potion. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're decoding the ultimate biohack for your workouts and your daily output. And yep, we are talking about the science of coffee. You know, for decades, we've just thought of plain black coffee as a simple morning wake-up beverage, right? Just something to kind of clear the brain fog before a long commute. But what if the latest research actually forces us to reframe that entirely? When you use it correctly, this isn't just some comfort drink, it is a scientifically proven performance tool that literally transforms your body, all the way from the brain down to the biceps. All right, let's dive straight into this number, because it is absolutely staggering. The research reveals that just one single cup of black coffee can boost your exercise output by up to 12%. I mean, imagine that, putting 12% more effort into your run, lifting 12% more volume, or honestly, just having 12% more stamina to power through a really grueling work task. That is a massive physiological advantage, and it's just hiding in a standard mug. So here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. We're going to cover the Metabolic Torch, the ultimate legal PED, fasting and recovery secrets, and finally, the perfect timing protocol. Let's kick things off with part one, the Metabolic Torch. If you've ever had a fresh cup of coffee and actually felt yourself running a little hotter, well, here is the measurable scientific reason why. Caffeine provides a base metabolism boost of up to 11% basically across the board. But look at the fat burning rates. The rate of fat being burned improves by 10% in obese individuals, and it absolutely skyrockets by a massive 29% in lean individuals, meaning your body is actively prioritizing fat as a fuel source just because of the compound you drink. No extra cardio required. So how exactly is it doing this? It's basically a brilliant biochemical dance. Caffeine spikes your adrenaline, which is exactly why you feel that sudden rush of energy. But at the exact same time, it suppresses a hormone called ghrelin. Now, ghrelin is the troublemaker that makes your stomach growl and tells your brain you're starving. So while it's turning down ghrelin, it's turning up peptide YY, which is the satiety hormone that makes you feel full. You're getting way more energy while actively turning off your hunger signals. It's a massive dual benefit. But, and there is a huge but here, this brilliantly illustrates the catch. You only get these incredible benefits if you keep it clean. Pure, plain black coffee is the actual biohack. It contains essentially 0 calories, roughly 0.5 calories per 100 grams. But the absolute second you start adding heavy creams, sweet syrups, and whipped toppings, you transform a 0.5 calorie metabolic torch into a 400 to 500 calorie milkshake. You're essentially paying $6 to flush all of those metabolic gains straight down the drain. Which brings us to section 2, the ultimate legal PED. So how does a morning drink act as a performance-enhancing drug? Let's look at the physical response. When caffeine enters your system, it triggers your central nervous system to release a massive wave of adrenaline. And this isn't just about feeling a little more awake. Your heartbeat physically increases, your blood pressure rises, your body is basically tricked into entering a mild fight-or-flight state. But instead of, running from a predator, you get to harness that primal survival energy to dramatically boost your focus, endurance, strength, and speed during your workout. So what's the everyday impact of being in this state? Well, people who consistently drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day are 17% more likely to perform their physical activities at optimum levels. We're not just talking about casually getting through a workout, but actually hitting peak performance metrics. It provides a highly reliable, consistent ceiling raiser for what your body's capable of doing. And if you doubt that, get this. This effect is so well documented and profoundly powerful that the NCAA actually heavily regulates caffeine intake for its collegiate athletes. They limit it because, in high enough doses, it is deemed a distinct, undeniable competitive advantage. I mean, when a major athletic governing body actually has to step in and regulate a common kitchen beverage, you know for sure it's a potent tool. All right, moving right along to section 3, fasting and recovery secrets. For those of you who leverage intermittent fasting for health or weight management, this specific trick changes everything. It's basically a cheat code. Black coffee does not break your fast. In fact, because we know it blunts hunger by suppressing that ghrelin hormone we talked about, it actually helps you endure longer fasting windows comfortably, all while keeping the vast majority of your fasting benefits completely intact. But here's the crazy part. The benefits don't stop when the workout or the fast ends. Coffee carries a massive recovery payload. A single cup doesn't just have a few antioxidants, it contains over 1,000. These are the compounds that aggressively fight off free radicals in your body, mitigating oxidative stress and actually helping your cells repair themselves after you've totally pushed them to the limit. And practically speaking, those antioxidants deliver some incredibly potent anti-inflammatory benefits. The science indicates it's amazing for combating major joint issues, basically what we might call the ititises. It actively fights arthritis, reduces bursitis, and soothes tendinitis. Plus, studies show it actively lowers uric acid levels in the body, which significantly reduces your risk of developing gout. It is literally a liquid recovery protocol. Finally, let's wrap this up with Section 4, the perfect timing protocol. Okay, so we have all this amazing science, but how do we actually apply it to our real lives? We need a system. The protocol really breaks down into 3 crucial phases. Step 1 is the window, getting your timing right for the workout itself. Step 2 is the source, making sure you're putting safe beans into your body. And step 3, which is arguably the absolute most important for your overall health, is the cutoff, knowing exactly when it's time to stop drinking. Let's map this out on a timeline. To maximize your athletic performance, you really want to drink your coffee 30 to 90 minutes before your workout. That very specific window is when caffeine concentration hits its absolute peak in your bloodstream. However, you absolutely must pair this with a strict 12 p.m. noon cutoff. Why? Because caffeine has an exceptionally long half-life. It can take up to 10 hours for it to fully clear your system. If you drink it late in the afternoon, you are directly sabotaging your sleep and by extension, ruining your body's ability to recover.
But timing is only half the battle here. You've got to prioritize the source, and that means going organic. Coffee is notoriously one of the most chemically treated crops on the entire planet. The research points out that some conventional farmers use up to 250 pounds of chemical fertilizers and pesticides per single acre. You're trying to drink a health elixir, literally the last thing you want to do is force your liver to process a bunch of toxic pesticides right alongside your caffeine.
So, we've clearly seen how coffee, when you use it correctly, is an incredible science-backed tool to burn more fat, lift heavier weights, and seriously sharpen your focus. But every powerful tool has a dark side if it's misused, right? So what exactly happens to your anxiety levels, your resting heart rate, or even your daily medications when you push way past the optimal dosage and this liquid gold actually turns toxic? Well, that is exactly what we're going to unpack in our next explainer. Until then, keep your timing tight, keep your beans organic, and we'll see you next time.